Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Okie Duck Shot, where we stop them and drop them. How many of you guys out there are public land hunters primarily? Everybody over here at Okie Duck Shot is primarily a public land hunter. We'll have a couple of spots there, some private land fields, but I'd say at least 90% of the time we're hunting public land. So we all know public land hunting's tough. We all know, boy, you can get some stories off public land. It's not just you and your buddies being able to go in a field and kind of get in there late. No, it's out there. You got to fight for a spot. It's everybody and the mama out there. It's some tough hunting. But man, the stories we get. And on today's episode, that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell a story from opening day of teal season this year. And man, let me tell you, it'll be a good one. So it's opening morning. I had to work the night before. I got off at 2 a.m. Everybody's already over here at the house. It's long awaited. You know, it's going to be the first banger of the season. We finally have it. I mean, of course we have dove season, but it's the first one we're over water. It's the first duck season. We're all stoked and we're ready to go. Everybody's here. I get off work. We toss everything in the truck and we bounce out. We're out of here. We're gonna get to our little honey hole and work it. So if you guys watched the previous video, you'll know that we put in some work and did our due diligence and went and scouted. And boy, did we find a honey hole. This honey hole was covered. Go watch the previous video. I'll put a link in it in the bio. But man, it was covered. And we knew there was going to be other people out there. It's public land. That's the way it works, right? And we're like, that's okay. We're going to get there, if not the first, one of the first. And we'll work with the other hunters, usually people on public land. You can work with them and be like, hey, I'm going to go set up here. I'm going to go set up here. Everybody's cool. We'll bounce some birds off each other. It's the only water in the area. We're all just going to have to work together to make this work. But there's plenty of birds to go around out here. Well, needless to say, that's not what happens. We leave here and we get to the parking spot where you have to walk in. We get there at probably 3:30, 3:45. And as we're pulling in the parking lot, we look up and we're like, oh, well, there's already a couple trucks here. Those aren't just trucks. Those are truck and box trailers. Well, as we're sitting there, you can't walk in this spot until 2 hours before. So we're sitting there hanging out, waiting, and all of a sudden, more trucks start pulling in like we thought. But everybody's getting out of their trucks and they're going to this one truck with that box trailer on it. So what's going on? So we get out and we're fixing to go over there and talk with them. And we look, and all the trucks that were there originally all have the same logo on them. And we're like, that's okay, you know, they're coming out here early, you know, whatever. No. It was an outfitter. So some backstory on this. Here in Oklahoma, you can use public land to run your outfit off of. You don't have to run your outfit off of your own private land. You don't have to go find private land. If you want to run a guided hunt off public land, there's nothing against it. So that's exactly what they did. Well, we get to look in, we start walking out. They walk out at the same time. And we look over and there's already headlamps out by the water. And we're like, wait a minute. You couldn't walk in. Well, come to find out, they went ahead and basically camped in an A-frame blind to make sure they had their spot. So we set up and we're on the back side of a berm, and we get decoys thrown, we get mojos set up, and we get our hides brushed in, and we're good to go. Here comes opening light. We start hearing those little rockets, you know, come flying over your head, and you just see itty bitty little shadows. That first flight's probably groups of 2 and 3. You know, so they're just waking up. They're just getting off off the roost, and they're starting to come over here. When we scouted it, that's where they wanted to loaf and feed, and that's where all the water was. So we're sitting there, and next thing you know it, here comes the sun, bang, it's shooting light, we're good to go. Safeties come off, and we see a giant group come right over the top of our heads. I say right over the top. They were way up there. They were probably 150 yards up. So, I mean, you want to talk about sky busting. It wasn't even worth even trying to sky bust. We're like, all right, so we're going to let them finish over in their decoys. You know, there's probably 4 or 5 guys over there in that A-frame. More about that in a minute. And once those 4 or 5 guys shoot, it'll bounce them. We're going to get some either passing shots as they come screaming over this little berm, or they're going to want refuge and they're going to come finish over here in our spread. So we're listening, and sure enough, World War III starts. And it's not 3 or 4 or 5 guns going off. It sounds like the British and the US are faced off in the middle of a field and are just cranking volleys. I kid you not, it sounded like World War III. And we all know how it is, you know, on public land. You might get peppered every now and again. Well, we start getting peppered little bits at a time, you know, it kind of comes over. Like, all right, here we go. Safeties are off. Birds are fixing to come over the top, and they never come over the top. They skirt around the side, they work, they start looking like they want to work, and they never do. They take off. I don't know where they go. There wasn't anything around there. I don't know where they went. Like, all right, that's all right. It's just, you know, first flight. We're good. We still got some time. Well, there's 1 or 2 come screaming past. We take passing shots. I mean, they're 60, 70 yard passing shots. But it's opening morning, so why not? You know, we're going to shoot. Normally we try to let them come in and finish a little bit more, but it's opening morning. We've had an itchy trigger finger for a while. So we take passing shots, we shoot behind them, you know, trying to dust off the cobwebs, plus teal are fast. And we're like, all right, it's all good. And all of a sudden, you know, those same ones that we just took passing shots at, we're like, oh, well, they're going to shoot them. Well, it sounds like somebody shoots almost standing on top of us. A wad hits me in the back of the head, and we don't just get peppered, we get dunked on from pellets. I was like, what is going on? These guys are not very smart. And I stand up, and I kid you not, they're standing maybe 20 yards behind us, and they were shooting directly in our direction, and they knew we were sitting there. So I let them know, y'all best quit that, and I think they got the point. So I just stood there and watched, and I had my binos, and I'm glassing them over in their A-frame, and I noticed there's little humps next to the A-frame, so there's like 5 or 6 layouts right next to the A-frame, and this is not just a regular small little A-frame. This is one of those big old boys. We kind of hit this little lull, so you know everybody stands up and does like a little 7th inning stretch. There was 15 people in that hunting group. They guided a 15-man hunt on the only water in the area. So we sit back down and we're like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. I mean, obviously it was a good idea for them because they shot tons, but pretty much screwed everybody else that wanted to come out there and hunt. Well, needless to say, that group is watching us, and I mean, we can just see birds hanging everywhere off their A-frame. And we get back to the truck, and we look up the logo that they had in their back window. I'm not going to say who they are, and that's neither here nor there. I think it's pretty dumb to be using public land that's a lot of people's only way that they can get out and hunt, because they don't have all the big bucks to be out or have the connections originally, especially when people are first starting out, to go get all this private land. So I look up their little outfitter group. And they're charging $200 a gun to hunt public land. These guys could have gone out and hunted that for free if they'd have just put in the time and gone out and scouting. So these guys are making a killing off free land that you can go hunt. I don't know about you guys, but that's insane to me. I mean, great business deal on you guys. I'll give them that. But whoo-wee. That's it's kind of, I don't know if it's impressive or people are just dumb and don't realize that they're getting kind of shafted when they could be hunting this land for free on their own if they'd have just put in the work. But instead they're going to pay $200 or more a gun a day to go out and hunt these spots. That being said, we're gonna get out of here. I've got some other hunting stuff that I need to get done today, and we'll kind of go from there. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Like and subscribe right here on the channel, and go watch the previous video. It's got some pretty cool videos of a bunch of those blue wings before we got sky blasted out there. We're gonna get out of here, and we'll catch y'all next time. All right.